Good evening, boys and girls, and welcome to episode 53 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, here live with you today on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're watching live, thank you very much for watching. If you're watching after the live broadcast, but a very particular thank you to the people who have actually tuned in for all three episodes that I've done today. This is the third of three. More coming soon. I'm going to try and do as many as possible in December as we approach the end of the year. Fingers crossed I may even be able to do some on Sunday, so that'll be Sunday the 8th of December, but check out my social media channels. Round 3, says Mystery Forms Beta, and Tashara says hi again. Yes, absolutely, round 3, and this is what we're going to be smelling in round 3. So usual stuff that I say at the beginning of every single video. Please consider subscribing. Stalking session. Well, I'm happy to be stalked. I'm back, says Lynn Smells, and actually the fact that you're all saying hello tells me what I need to know about whether this is working. But I'll just fire up the tablet if you don't mind to make sure I don't miss any comments. Please subscribe to my channel. Please consider supporting my work on Ko-fi, on the website Ko-fi, coffee.com. You'll find a link to that underneath this video. A blotter update will come a few hours after the end of the broadcast. And even if you're not watching live, please leave comments, ask questions. I'm always very, very happy to hear from you. And this is the subject of the final video for today, episode 53. She was an anomaly from Etat Libre d'Orange. Brand new from them, only been out I think for a few weeks. A brand that I continue to rate very, very highly, even though I may not necessarily always like every single thing that they release. And I'm a little bit trepidatious about this one because I was very, very taken with their Experimentum Crucis, which came out, I think, earlier this year. So I kind of think, okay, well, if they've already done one good one this year, what's this going to be like? The story behind the creation of this one is intriguing, and I will share that with you. I've got a very, very short press blurb. But how this came about is fascinating and also very Etat Libre d'Orange. But I think we should just first of all go ahead and spray it. Any fans of the brand out there? At least one of their perfumes is going to feature in my list of the best. Experimentum is exceptional, says Lynn. Yeah, Lynn Smells. I was really, really taken with it as well. There we go. She was an anomaly. This is my thumbnail moment. Let's just cover up other brands there, even though other brands are available. She was an anomaly from Etat Libre d'Orange. Composed, I am already aware of who's composed this. It's Daniela Andrier, who also did Une Amourette for them, which I liked very much. Ashfaq says, I like Rien Intense. So do I, but I prefer the original Rien. I really, really love the original Rien. What I was saying, though, is that at least one of their perfumes is going to feature in my list of the 10 best perfumes of the decade, which should appear on the blog early next week. Love the name, though, of this one. Yes, I like the name. Most of their names are good, even though they're not names that I think travel across borders very well. Some of them have a lot of their charm lost in translation. Here we go. This is She Was an Anomaly from Etat Libre d'Orange. What's it going to be like? Are we going to be impressed? What is the first? I'm just looking here and the thing to make sure that you see it correctly. Forehead. Okay, if she was an anomaly, she was a pretty quiet anomaly. Lots of musks, but everything is toned down. Ashfaq says Eldos are always worth trying. Their stories are always over the top without trying to be too serious. Yeah, I agree. Always worth checking out. But this is, I think, because I know it's Daniela Andrier, you nowadays you cannot help but sort of think, okay, I wonder if there's going to be any iris in it, because she uses iris to death. That's why I found her Une Amourette so interesting for the brand, because it wasn't very overtly iris heavy. But this is quite mysterious, because the iris is there and there's a woodiness. The woodiness of the iris is there, the rootiness of the iris is there, and lots of musks. But there's a silence about it. An anomaly for the brand, says Liz. Perhaps. You know what I thought was an anomaly for the brand? Their perfume called I Am Trash, and I can't remember whether I covered it on a video, whether I wrote about it on the blog. Intrigued forehead, yes, but I Am Trash I think was a bit of an anomaly. There are some anomalies. Those of you who are based in the UK may be aware that they're doing some Selfridges exclusives, which are, very good pieces of work, but they're not especially innovative or groundbreaking or quirky or eccentric in the way that we would expect things from them to be. What are they called? I can't remember. I don't have their notes in front of me, but if you Google them, I'm sure you'll find them. But one of them is called something like Spice Must Flow or Spices Must Flow, which is a reference to the Frank Herbert novel Dune. And another one I think is called 500 Years, and I forget what that's a reference to. They're very, very obvious. 500 Years, thank you. They're very obviously Arabian, and I forget which way around. One of them reminded me very strongly of Nu from Yves Saint Laurent. And the other one was a kind of, we've been there before, but extremely well done, saffron, leather, rosy, oudi, woody Arabian scent. So where I'm going with that is that they've definitely got an eye on the commercial. Obviously they have an eye on the commercial. They're not charities. They've got to think of the bottom line. Turkish rose and saffron in both, says Lynn Smells. Thank you very much. But every now and then they will actually try to do something a bit more out there, a bit more interesting, like the Experimentum Crucis that we had earlier this year, like Unamouret. And at this stage, I can't yet decide which of the two camps Anomaly falls into, because it's intriguing, but it's not sort of loud or weird. It's not a Sécrétion Magnifique, okay? But mind you, what the hell would be? But it's also not got that immediate punch of something like Afternoon of a Faun, or the immediate humour of something like Fils de Dieu, or is it Dieu? I forget my articles now. The one by Ralph Schwieger, which is based on sort of rice, steamed rice. It doesn't have also the curious weirdness of Fin du Monde, which Quentin Biche made for them. So yes, maybe it is a bit of an anomaly, actually. Let's read up about it, because there is one thing about how this was created, one aspect of the creation of this that is bound to get you talking maybe even beyond the time limit of this video, so we could extend the conversation in the comments section afterwards. Right, where did I leave the little press material? Here we go. Now, she was an anomaly. That is actually a reference to the movie What Happened Miss Simone, which is a documentary about Nina Simone. And apparently, in that documentary, Nina Simone's daughter, Lisa Simone, says, "My mother, she was an anomaly. She was brilliant, she was loved, but she paid a huge price." So that's where we get the quotation from. So we've got, she was an anomaly. Try saying that quickly 3 times in a row. So is it a reference to Nina Simone, or is it just the fact that the brand liked the phrase? We also have a quotation from 2001. This is Hal. I'm not going to do my Hal voice, but I suppose it would go a little bit like, "I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that." 2000, if you haven't seen 2001. Anyway, Dave goes on to say, "I'm putting myself to the fullest possible use. It can only be attributable to human error. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye." And that's the HAL 9000 computer in Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. So those two quotations. These remarks could summarize our new perfume, a marriage of Nina Simone and Stanley Kubrick. This fragrance is dedicated to them. This is so Etat Libre, isn't it? To celebrate their talents, their deviations from the norm, from the theoretical value, from the expected. This disparity comes with an excess from a computer malfunction, forcing the dose on the iris and musk, and this sublime jeopardy has sprung up to become a perfume carved by Daniela Andrier, a singularity, a difference. This perfume was necessary. Now, when he's saying that this disparity comes with an excess from a computer malfunction, he's not just making a cheeky reference to 2001, because some of you may be aware of an AI system, an artificial intelligence system that is currently being used at Givaudan, and of course Daniela Andrier is a Givaudan perfumer. It's called Carto, or Carto, I think, as the French like to pronounce it. And Eau de Algorithm, says Mystery Forms Beta, yes, kind of, but with major human intervention. Well, in Daniela Andrier's own words, she says here, this perfume is the result of something unexpected. I played with Carto, Givaudan's AI-powered tool for suggesting formulas. I gave it beloved and familiar notes. Carto suggested an overdose of 2 ingredients. I took care of the rest. So is it a computer malfunction? The fact, because you know, maybe when the computer spewed out the results, they must have gone, oh, that doesn't seem right. But I guess something must have chimed with Daniela Andrier. As the press material goes on, it says, as part of its 2020 digital innovation strategy, Givaudan Fragrances is thrilled to announce the launch of Carto, our latest intuitive and interactive system that reinvents the way perfumers create. Carto is an AI-powered tool that brings science and technology to the service of the perfumers. It is designed to intelligently use our unique ingredients odor value map to maximize the olfactive performance in the final formula. So yeah, maybe Eau de Algorithm, but what do we get? Well, the notes are apparently iris, cedar and musks. And I would go along with that, except that I'm still kind of thinking, but what makes it smell so mysterious? Intuitive with human correction, says Lynn Smells. Yes. So, you know, maybe the computer suggested something and Daniela Andrier must have thought, okay, you know, let me see where this takes us. I'm just logging back onto the tablet here to make sure I don't miss any comments. I got the Eau de Algorithm. Okay, so I don't think I missed any. So I would imagine that there's something about the liaison, something about the connection between the musks that have been used and the iris materials, or maybe the dosage of them. I mean, you know, perhaps it's just got tons and tons of things like isoe, super, and hedione used as solvents to just lift this central accord. But it is curious. It's kind of, I keep thinking, nah, stop trying to make excuses for it. It's just very, very simple. But then I sort of smell something else in there that makes me think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be quite so dismissive of it. Another one to try on skin, I think. There will obviously be a blotter update. Just before doing this video, for those of you who are not watching it live, I did Comme des Garçons' new Copper, and I've decided I absolutely must spray that on skin before I make any kind of evaluation of it. So after I've done Copper, I think I'm going to have to do this one. But maybe there's a kind of heat coming through in something that is almost starting to give it a kind of animalic funk. It's not, because, you know, iris, cedar, musks would be quite cold and clinical and sterile in a very kind of Stanley Kubrick 2001 way, because a lot of his films do have a very, very cold, cerebral quality to them. Whereas Nina Simone, of course, in some ways was the antithesis of that. So maybe it is actually genuinely trying to bring those two realms together. I am, as Ashfaq said, genuinely intrigued by this. Anyway, thank you very much. Oh, hi, new subscriber here. Pleasure to catch you live for once. Really appreciate your review, says Floating Man. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind. And well done for tuning in. Although I realise that most people cannot watch live because, you know, there's always other stuff going on and time zones, etc., etc. To those of you who tuned in live to this one today, thank you very much. And to those of you who actually made it all the way through all 3 live videos, just noticed that your shirt is matching the curtain. Oh yeah, of course, that was planned. Haven't you noticed that the curtains change every single time? No, not really. Do you think it does? Am I kind of blending in? Never mind. So please stay tuned to social media channels, mainly Instagram really, to find out when the next videos might be. I will try to do one on Sunday, but I can't make any promises as yet. But certainly on the blog early next week, we will have my best perfumes of the Decade Great Triad, says Liz. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Best Perfumes of the Decade blog post will be coming up soon, and that will also be backed up by a video, but I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to do that video. For that one, we may probably have to wait over a week. But in the meantime, tell me what some of your favourite perfumes of the decade have been. There is definitely at least one Etat Libre d'Orange on my list. And I won't say anything else. Okay, but for now, thank you, Mystery Forms Beta, for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. Look after yourselves. Take care. Bye.